Hi everyone, welcome to ARM class, ARM microcontroller and embedded system class. This is 17662. We will continue our module 2. The topic we are going to deal today is about Cortex M3 programming. We saw few instructions about ARM Cortex M3, and we will try to see the how the programming construct means how to program a application, embedded system application using Cortex M3 microcontroller. Okay, this is about Cortex M3 programming lecture. Okay, we will see the overview and the typical development flow. It means how the programming cycle, is there, how the whatever the program we write, how it is going to be executed. Okay, at what stage, what are the stages are there, what are the files we are going to get, and what is the final output file. We'll see in the typical development flow, and also we'll see the same typical development flow by with examples using C language and assembly language. And we will get introduced to the Cortex M3 Cortex microcontroller software interface standard, CMSIS. That is a one separate interface standard used by Cortex M3 by of its own. Okay, we will see. Okay, the overview says the Cortex M3 can be programmed using either a C language or a assembly language. Okay, assembly language means not any other assembly language, the ARM Cortex M3 assembly language only. Okay, the instructions whatever they are going to use, they will be based on the ARM Cortex M3 only. Okay, and the C language, it is a general purpose C language they will use. And how this general purpose programming language can be used to develop the embedded system with the association of the ARM Cortex M3. Okay, that will be dealt in this class, not in the in depth. We'll see at the overview stage, means in a brief stage. Okay, we can also use other high level languages like National Instruments, the LabVIEW. Okay, we can also program the embedded systems using a LabVIEW. Okay, for most of the embedded applications using the Cortex M3 processor, the software can be written entirely in C language. Okay, we saw that different languages can be used to program the embedded systems, but we can program the entire embedded system using Cortex M3 um, tool with the help of a entire program written in C language. Okay, if it is designer preference, okay, it is designer preference to use either a assembly language or a C language. The procedure of building and downloading the resultant image files to the target device is largely dependent on the tool chain used. This paragraph is saying that the is giving a hint of the final output file. Okay, whatever the embedded systems we are going to design, you will be programming it. Okay, we'll be programming it. That programming cycle needs to use a one particular IDE tool. That tool is provided by the ARM Cortex M3. They mentioned about the target device, means whatever the program we write, okay, that program will be burned into the hardware part, the Cortex M3 hardware board. The various software programs are available for developing Cortex M3 applications. The concepts of code generation flow in terms of these tools are similar. For the most basic uses, there is a need of an assembler, a compiler, a linker, and a binary file generation utilities. Okay, there are many different tools to generate Cortex M3 to for developing Cortex applications based on Cortex M3. Okay, there are various tools, okay, to develop the application using Cortex M3 microcontroller. But all the tools should have an assembler, a compiler, a linker, and a few important software tools to generate the binary file. Binary file is the last file where we can develop our application. Okay, the ARM solutions include, okay, RealView development suite RVDS or RealView compiler tools RVCT. Okay, whatever the ARM tool we will get, that tool should include these two to develop our Cortex M3 application. Okay, this provides a file generation flow. Okay, this will be depicted in the figure 10.1. We'll try to construct the figure 1 in a stepwise. Okay, the scatter loading script is optional but often required when the memory map becomes more complex. don't get worried. First we will go to the figure, we'll construct the figure and we'll come back. Okay, we'll try to explain this one also, this line. Okay, first we will move to the figure construction part. This is the typical development flow. Okay, this is the typical development flow used in ARM development tools. Okay, we'll try to construct this figure. Okay, first what we are going to do, we are going to develop the an application. How? By programming. We saw programming can be done by C language and assembly language. Okay, we will see the stages one by one. First we will write the C programming code in an editor, either in a software tool or in a plain text editor like Notepad or Notepad++. Okay, then once we write the program, we will be saving as a .c file, because it is writing in a C programming, using C programming syntaxes, so it will be saved as .c. Then that program, whatever the program we have saved in .c, will be passed to the compiler. Okay, the compiler we are using a ARMCC compiler, because we are developing ARM based application. Okay, this compiler will generate an object file, .o file. Okay, this object file is very much essential to convert to the machine understanding language. Okay, this is not the machine language, but it will helps in converting whatever the program language we are written is English. Okay, that will be connected to the binary. Okay, final binary instructions. This object file plays an intermediary role for between this human readable language and the machine language. Okay, this object file, okay, will be passed to the linker. Usually in the C programming file is write a C file, do the compilation, object file is generated, then perform the linking. Okay, then we will get an X file. But here in ARM we need to map to the memory. Okay, we need to map the whatever the variables we are using in the program. Okay, whatever the functions we are using. Okay, what are the parameters, all these variable, global variable or local variables, whatever variables we use, we need to map it to the memory. Okay, we got memory map in a Cortex M3, so we'll be using a separate vector tabled program. Okay, which will map our program into the respective memory map. Okay, so we'll be using a scatter loading script. Along with the object file, we will be using a scatter loading file to map to the memory, that will be sent to the linker. Okay, that will be sent to the linker. The linker you are using is ARM linker. Okay, so that we will go to the execution part also. Okay, these two files are sent to the linker. The linker will generate an executable file. What type of executable file? Usually we will be getting a X file, but here we will be getting a executable image file in the format of .elf, executable image .eif, not elf, .eif, executable image format. It also saves, it also comes in another extension .axf. Finally this will be generating a binary file. Okay, once we got the .elf file, okay, we need to generate the binary file. We saw that assembler required, compiler required, linker required. Last point was some tools to generate the binary file. Okay, finally we need to get a binary file, because we are not going to run a program, we are going to develop an application. When we write a program and we develop an application, that when we give that application to the customer, that customer should be able to install in his system and run the application. Okay, to run the application he should have binary file. This is about C programming flow. Next, the same cycle will be performed for assembly also, but there will be different compiler. Okay, first we will write the assembly code, means machine somewhat some instructions very much near to the machine understanding. Okay, we will use ARM programming, ARM Cortex M3 instructions to write the assembly code. That file will be saved in .s. You have been used to save as .asm in your microcontroller, but ARM Cortex M3 assembly language will be saved in .s format. This will be sent to the ARM compiler. Okay, ARM compiler. For assembly language require ASM compiler, so ARM ASM is the compiler. We will send this .s file to ARM ASM compiler. It will generate a object file. It will generate a object file. This object file, along with the scatter loading script, means to map to the memory, it will send to the same linker. There is no different linker, same linker will use. Okay, this linker will generate the an executable image file .eif file. And finally we need to generate an application. Okay, an executable means application file. When we write in a C program, we'll be creating a dot binary file, but when you are writing in assembly language, you'll be getting a final application file as a .txt. Okay, you'll be getting a final disassembled code, disassembled code as .txt. Okay, this is about the typical development flow. Okay, using ARM tools. Okay, we'll come back to this the 2 points what we have left. The 2 points we left is scatter loading script. Okay, and about the basic tools. We saw the importance of the scatter loading script. It is very much important to map to map with the memory. Okay, besides these tools, RVDS, okay, real view development suite also contains a large number of utilities. What utilities? It contains an IDE, integrated development tool, and debuggers. Okay, IDE is nothing but whatever you use the Turbo C application you opened, or code block you opened, or your Keel software you are opened. Okay, in that whatever that screen comes, that is called, that is nothing but IDE, integrated development environment. It means integrated means there are different functionalities. To write a code, there is an editor. Okay, to compile a code, there is a compiler. To link there is a link. To link, there is a build target option is there. To link to the, to generate and to link to the target device, there is a build target is there. And to run, there is a run option is there. To view the output, there is a waveform window is there. Okay, to connect to the hardware, there is a separate interface part is there. And also to identify the error there and fixing the error, there is a separate part called debugging. So since these all, from editing to compiling, building the target, and seeing the output, all these are coming in the same tool, it's called as integrated development environment. Okay, and debuggers, the tool will have these two features also. Okay, next we'll see how to construct. We saw the typical development flow. We will see how to write the C program, whether the C programming, writing C program and assembly language, whether are we going to follow the same steps or different steps. We will take few examples. Okay, we'll take an example of blinking an LED. Okay, the open a how to go with the execution part. First, open a text editor. First, go on open your ARM tool, open a text editor in that, and write the program. Okay, so it's mentioned assembly program. It should be a C program. Pardon me, it was somewhat mistaken done. Okay, first we will write we'll open the tool and we'll write the C program and we'll save it as .c. Then it will be sent to the compiler. Okay, while executing, we will go to the command prompt and we'll use the some instructions to some command to execute this program. Okay, we'll send to the ARMCC compiler. Then we will compile the C program. It will generate an object file which is in the .o extension. Then along with to map to the memory, we'll use scatter loading script. Okay, for mapping, for memory mapping, and these two files will be sent to the linker. The linker will generate .elf file or .eif file or .exf file. .eif means EIF means executable image format file. Okay, executable image file. Okay, then we'll be sending to the then we'll be using some binary generation tools to generate the binary file. Why we need to generate the binary file? Because we'll be finally we will hand it to the customer. That customer needs to run the application, not going to exit. Not he should not install IDE and run the program directly. You should click on the binary file. Okay, that binary file will initiate the application and it will run the application. For example, a game software, whatever the game software or the gaming application, whatever the gaming application installed in our laptop or desktop. Okay, you will not start from running the program. Okay, that is developed using a programming only. You will not run the program, means whatever the instructions, whether they are written C program or C++, you will not run C program or C++ program. You will click on some application, some icon. That icon is nothing but a dot bin. Okay, that is an example. Okay, we will be getting a by a dot bin file. This is about C. And similarly for assembly also, we'll be using the same tool. Same again, some mistakes, some I think some confusion has happened while editing. The slide was this happens while editing. This happens. Pardon me for this one. The slides are fixed now. We will resume back. Okay. And for assembly language also, for assembly language, open a text editor, write the ARM Cortex M3 assembly language instructions and save as .s and send to the compiler. The compiler is ARM ASM, and this compiler will generate a object file .o along with the scatter loading file. We'll be sending this object file and scatter loading file to map to the linker. Okay, that linker will generate .eif file, and finally we'll get a disassembled code as .txt. Okay. I don't know whether I got confused or some editing mistake has happened or the slides were interchanged. I don't know, but the last file we are getting disassembled code as .txt while generating an application using assembly language. Okay, pardon me for that. And the embedded programming using a C language. Okay, for developing a Cortex M3 based application. Okay, the Cortex M3 processor is a best choice for developing an embedded program, for developing embedded application. Okay, using C language, Cortex M3 is the best tool or best microcontroller. Okay, programming in C with Cortex M3 processor is made even easier as many of the microcontroller vendors, okay, provide a driver libraries. Okay, driver libraries are very much important because we need to interface to the hardware board. Okay, with readily available driver libraries, somewhat of the work are very much eased. Okay, these driver libraries can then be included into the project. We can readily include these driver libraries. We need not to write separate driver information, driver programming. We can use this. We can add this in our program. Okay, since modern C compilers can generate very efficient code, it is better to programming in C because than spending a lot of time trying to developing complex routines in assembly language. Instead of using assembly language to develop an embedded application, we can use C programming. Okay, we will take an example of blinking an LED. Okay, and we shall see how to map the memory also. Okay. We all know that C is a portable language. It can be used in whatever the program you write in Windows can also be executed in the other OS platforms also. Okay, and we'll take an example and we use of C program. We'll take an example of blinking LED. We'll execute that in real view development site for ARM using ARM based tools. Okay, and we compile that using Keil MDK ARM, and we also map the memories registers, and we'll try to see what is intrinsic functions and what is embedded assembler and inline assembler. Okay, a normal program. Okay, whatever the program, or it may be any language, there should be main program, there should be main function. Okay, that main function will include variables, will include different functions. Okay, we'll call different functions to execute. Okay, there should be main person for in any application, either whether it is it a bank or a home or an institution or in a government. There should be main person like a prime minister, like a chief minister. Okay, who will call its subordinates to perform operations. like it's exactly in the programming cycle also we'll be having a main program. Here also in C programming also we'll be having a main program. That main program will call the different names of the functions. Okay, like make a sound, like exit, display it on the screen. Okay, get the input from the user. Okay, like this it will call the different functions. Okay, let's start with the more the blinking of the LED. We'll name the file as a blink.c. Okay, to map to the memory we'll we'll write another program called vectors.c. Okay, this is the programming of the blinking.c, blinky.c. What blinking means, like LED on, LED off, LED on, LED off. So LED off means the value should be the value to the LED bulb given to be 0. LED on means the value to be given to the LED means 1. Logic low means 0, logic high means 1, right? Similarly, to glow the LED we should give 1 value to that variable. Okay, and to off the LED we should give value 0 to the variable. The variable means whatever the LED we connect to the board. Okay, it will be having a variable value. The LED will glow based on the value only. If we give 0, LED will be off. If we give 1, LED will be 1. That is the whatever the wording I am saying, that is this is exactly in the programming code. We got a main program. Within this main program we'll be calling some function, we'll be calling some loops, and we'll using some variables. These variables are global variables. Okay, these variables comes from the this this hash define LED. Okay, pointer variables. Okay, this hash define is used to as a to declare a global variable. Okay, um, we are using LED. Okay, LED as a global variable, hash LED. So whatever the we can use this LED in any part of the program. This is outside the main program, but we can name LED in any part of our program. Okay, it has some values initialized. Okay, we can also reinitialize the value. Okay, here we are writing the main program. Within the main program we need to create a loop. Okay, to on the LED and to off the LED. So oning and off there should be some delay. So for delay means counting, time count. There should be delay for a 5 second, delay for a 10 second. Okay, uh, when we on the LED, it should be on for few time till we turn off it. Okay, or if you want the LED to on off means blinking, on off, you might have seen the tower. There the light will on off continuously. Okay, that on off means it will stay for some time and off for some time, and stay for some time, off for some time. Okay, this will repeat. Okay, like this. We shall see. What I'm meaning is on off, continuous on off, continuous on. Okay, off on, off on, off on, off on, like this pulse, it means on off. Okay, like this the bulb should be on off continuously. Okay, there should be a looping construct for staying in the off state, LED off state, and a looping construct for LED on state. Okay, it should be continuously monitored. Okay, so we will call one in counter variable as integer variable, and we will call some another counter variable for called j. This variable to make the LED to be either off or off, to count the time, and this j is used to give the value. Okay, means either LED is on or LED is off. Okay, to maintain that on off state or on state. Okay, we'll give the value 0 to the LED. Okay, and we will loop, means that we'll maintain that state off state for 10 seconds. We'll maintain that off state for 10 seconds. So we'll be calling for loop. We'll be initializing from 0, I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Means this will loop for 10 times, and every time the value of the LED to be off state, so it should be 0. The LED should be off, so we need to maintain that off state. So we will give j equals 0. Means j equals 0 means LED will be in off state for 10 time unit. Similarly, now we will give after 10 time unit LED should be turned on. Okay, we will give value 1 to the LED, and we will maintain the states for 10 time units. Similarly, we will use the same variable, I variable, and we will loop it for 10 times, and every time we need to maintain the same state, so we will give the value j equals 0. Means don't carry what j equals 0 equals 0. It means maintain the same value. Okay, maintain the same value because we are initialized led as 1 year. The duty of j is to maintain the same value. Okay, you can see the loop construct for led off and led on. This is how we blink the led. Okay, we'll not maintain on for entire duration. We'll make it on off on off on off blinking. So in order to continue this operation blinking, we'll be using while loop. Okay, we are using while loop to so that the operation continues till infinite, till some switch off button is pressed or some reset button is pressed or the power off goes. Okay, so we need to keep the blinking continuously, so we need a while loop. So we're using while loop of 1. Condition of while loop is 1, so that the loop runs for infinite time. Okay, and this is, and we mentioned that we'll be mapping the memory. Okay, for that we'll be using a vectors.c program. This is a vectors.c program. You can see there are different different network interrupt controllers, signals are there, interrupt request is there, and fault handlers are there. Okay, timer ticker is there. Okay, and some external interrupt request handlers are also there, you can see. Okay, this will map to the memory. Okay, and this is the continuation of the program. Okay, you can see the program is not a single, there's a continuation of the program. This program will be helping in the mapping to the memory. Okay, we will try to execute the program. That was about the C program and scatter script loading file. We will try to execute. Open the command prompt means we need to go to the command prompt. Okay, Windows button, command prompt, CMD. It a command prompt will open. There we can execute the program by giving commands, by with instructions, not clicking on any tools, by giving direct commands. Okay, we need to open the command prompt. In that command prompt, we need to mention the command compiler name. The compiler name is armcc, and -c, -g, -w, and the file name. Okay, this is the command. We need to mention the compiler name and what type of program you use, C, and -g, -w for getting the list of warnings, and we need to mention the file name. File name is blink.c, and we are supposed to mention the name of the object file. Okay, if you omit this, okay, we'll be generating the object file right after compilation. So we need to identify that object file for further operation. So we need to name the object file also. That option is also there. If you name the object file, it is easy to identify that object file for future applications. Okay, so we need to mention also object file name. So -o is to name the to name the object file. So we'll be naming the object file as blinky.o. This will generate a object file, no doubt. This line till blink.c, blinky.c will generate object file, but we want that object file with a identifiable name. So we'll be naming it as blinky.o. So whatever the object file generating by this instruction will be saved as blinky.o. Else it will be saved as some random some unknown name. That unknown name usually be a.o. So we don't want that unknown name. We require some specific name. So we will be naming object file also. This is the instruction for compiling the C program. And this is about compiling the vectors.c file. We will also getting vectors.o object file. This is about generation of the object file. Next we need to generate the EIF file. Okay, then we need to link the file, and we need to generate the what .EIF file. Okay, for that we need to run the scattering script. The scattering script will be written as in the name of led.scat. led.scat means scat means scattering script. Okay, we shall see that script also. This is the script of the scattering script for mapping the memory. Okay, you can see vectors are there, code memory area is getting used, data memory area getting used. Okay, again the different memory stacks have been named and size have been defined. Okay, some heap size has been defined, stack size has been size has been defined, means starting area. Their base means they're given starting area, and they're given the size also. This is the address locations for heap memory and stack memory, and they're given size. What is the size? Half of those, half of the base. Okay, then vectors address will be start here, and code memory from where to start, and data memory from where to start and where to end. It's also given. They are given read write operation they are performing, and also they are using ARM library stack. ARM library stack. Okay, ARM library stack to create the stack of the output file. Then how to execute the how to link the file, we need to use the linker. What type linker? ARM link. You can see, go to the command prompt, type ARM link. The linker you are using ARM link. Okay, and we need to mention what type of operation we are doing. We are doing scatter. We are executing scatter script. So hyphen scatter, name of the file, within double quotes you can give some comments. Okay, some comments while executing, and give the object file name also. Why we need to give the object file name? Because the input of the linker is object file name plus what are the object name. These are the object name, blinky.1 vectors.1. And finally we need to identify the executable image file name. So we'll be naming the executable image file also, blinky.eif. whatever the executable image file we need to get, that should be a specific name, so we are naming blinky. Okay, this is about generating the performing the linking operation. Okay, and then how to create the binary file? We need to generate the binary file. For that also we need to go to the command prompt, and we need to use an instruction and command called from elf. Okay, we need to generate binary file from what? EIF file, executable image file we need to generate. So we need to use the command from EIF and generate the binary file. To generate binary file, you need to mention -bn, then type of the then name of the EIF file by blinky.eif. You can see we generated blinky.eif. We are also generating blinky.eif file. Okay, name of the file as input to generate binary file, and output, and the file will be getting binary file, right? That will be named as blinky.bin. Okay, to generate the output we need to give hyphen output. I'll repeat again. We are till now we are compiled, we got object file, we named the object file also, and we gave that object file name into the ARM linker, and we generated blinky.eif file, and we need to generate binary file. To generate binary file, we will be using the separate command. That command is from EIF. From EIF, generate binary file. From EIF -bin. Name of the input file name is blinky.eif. Output file name is blinky.bin. So to generate output, we need to use command -output space blinky.bin. This will generate our binary file. Now our application is ready. Okay, from writing program in text editor to till now you got binary file. This is about C programming file. Okay, then about binary generation file when we write the program in C, when we write the application in C program. When we write the application in the assembly language, okay, the steps are same. Here whatever you see here, .c is there. Instead of .c you should write .s. Okay, and for generating till, and then rest of the steps are same till linking, and from linker, okay, you need to generate .txt file. When you're developing application is assembly language, you need to generate .txt file, not binary file. So you'll be using the same command from EIF -c blinky.eif, okay, greater than list.txt. This will create disassembled code when we are developing application using assembly language. Okay, that is about the how to generate the flow of the development cycle, and with the example. Okay, okay, we hope you cleared that one. Next we will see the differences. Earlier ARM microcontrollers, okay, were using thumb state. Now we are using Cortex M3 thumb2 technology. Okay, and when we are using thumb2 technology, it's very much helpful, because we will be getting double word stack alignment function. Okay, we'll be have facility to use double word stack alignment function. Double word means more number of size. Thumb was 16, thumb2 is 32-bit. Okay, we'll be using double word stack alignment function in our program in the name of stk align. Stk means stack, align means alignment. Okay, we'll be using double word stack alignment in our C programming file, where we'll be using in the nested vector interrupt controller. Okay, in the NVIC controller register, there we'll use this instruction for memory mapping. Now, what are the instructions we are going to use? We will be using different instructions. Okay, we can use different methods also. Okay, either we can include we can use in assembly language code this instruction stk set stk alignment by using this instruction in when we are writing assembly language program, or we can use this instruction in the C programming also. We can use this instruction in the C programming. How? First we need to define the global variable. Name is NVIC CCR register, and we will defining the type of type, whether int type, long int, double, float, like this. We'll be mentioning the type and the value. Okay, and then we can use the same command. This is this same command. Okay, this same command you are using, same command we are using, set alignment, set stk alignment. And the next we will be what the and the next there should be some modification, right? Why we need to modification? Because till now we saw ARM development tool execution, but since we are using ARM Cortex M3, there should be some modification. Why? Because we are using double stack alignment. Okay, the whatever the program you can see, it will be same. Blinky.c program will be same, vectors.c will be same. Okay, but while linking you should change the scatter scripting load file. Okay, you need to change the scatter scripting loading file. Why? Because we are using thumb2 instruction set. We will go back there about the scatter loading script file. We can see in a scatter loading script file we used ARM library stack, ARM line number 26, ARM library stack, ARM. Okay, not mention thumb2, so we need to use thumb2 here. So this is the same figure we'll see in the next script, next slide also. The same file leds.scat, just modified. Okay, this is the same led.scat file, but we are using stack underscore mem. Instead of ARM library stack, we will be using double stack underscore mem. Okay, entire program, entire lines of the code are same. Okay, but we are using stack underscore mem instead of ARM lib stack in line number 26. Please note this point. Okay, next we'll try to execute this. Okay, we'll try to execute this one. This is a command prompt. Open the command prompt, type this instruction to set the path. Why? Because we have generated application, right? We have generated application, we are given to the customer. That customer needs to run this application. When before running in this application, he should set some variables in his system, a laptop or computer. Okay, we have programmed, we have developed an application, we have sold that application to the customer. That when customer needs to run this, he needs to set some parameters to his system. Okay, how to set that parameters? Okay, we will see by setting after setting that parameters only his application will run fine. Okay, now we will see the steps to set the paths and set different parameters so that application runs smoothly. Okay, the application to set the path is, okay, wherever you save that file. Okay, we'll take gaming application only. Okay, we'll take gaming application, we will download the gaming software. Okay, we will install it. After installation, we need to set the path of that installation in the environment variables. Okay, we will go to the environment variable in your computer and choose the edit path. In that edit path, give the path of the binary file. Okay, you set path. Okay, set path equals file name. Okay, that you can also do in other way, directly opening the environment variable. Okay, and setting the path. That is just using the icons in the dialog boxes. Here we are seeing how to edit the path, how to set the path using using commands. Okay, go to the command prompt, use set command to set the values. Values may be anything. It may be a location, or it can be any value or name. Okay, here we are giving set path equals the path, the location of the file we are set. Next command is set the inc value. Set the inc value. Next, set the library. Okay, inc path, library path. Okay, next, set type of CPU. What type of architecture using? Cortex M3. Okay, a Cortex M3 is architecture, right? CPU type is Cortex M3. Okay, next, Vendor. Who is the vendor? ARM, because everything should be licensed, right? ARMs are selling the products by giving license. Okay, license should be type vendor. Next, target. What type of target device using? Which target device using? The name of the target. By example, target 1. Next, we need to set the clock. Where to start the clock? From 0 or from 10 time minute or from 20 time minute or 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. We need to set the clock also. Okay, there will be a provision to set the clock, right? You might have observed when you take your smartwatch or mobile phone, what you will do? You will set the time, right? When you buy the mobile phone, what you will do? You will set the time. Similarly, we need to set the time. There should be option to set the time also. The provision to set the time is given by this one, set clock. Next, we need to run the memory file, vectors.c file, and we'll be running c file. Okay, these are the locations we will be giving. Okay, these are the informations we will get after the setting. Okay, once we set that, why you need to set? In order to run this program. Okay, we will set the parameters and we will run this program. Okay, this I will repeat again. Okay, whatever the files you have run or you have created, .c file, .s file, and generated .o file. Okay, all this should be runnable. So we will be having a tool. Okay, that example was gaming, running a gaming application. Similarly, similarly, in order to run this ARM based application, okay, we need to set the path. Okay, I will repeat this exam with related to ARM microcontroller. Earlier I explained for gaming application. Similarly, to execute whatever the blinky.c, okay, to execute, to perform ARM CC compiler, to perform ARM ASM, to perform ARM link, to perform from EIF. Okay, we should be able to provide, we should be able to execute that. To execute that, we require a software. Okay, what software? ARM software, RVDS. Okay, we require the ARM software with RVDS and RVCT. Okay, these should be included to perform to execute this Cortex M3 based application. Okay, when we got the tool, ARM tool, we need to set the parameter. Similarly, we took the gaming example, right? Similarly, when we get this ARM software, what are the steps to be performed? We need to set the path of the ARM tool. We will get the ARM software, we will install it. After install it, we need to get the binary path of that one, library path of that one, and different path. Okay, when we try to execute when we try to dump this code into the hardware, what steps to be performed? First we need to when we develop the program, we need to dump to the hardware. Okay, we have developed the program, we need to dump it to the hardware. First set the path, next set the inc file, set the library file, then set the type of the architecture, set the name of the vendor, and set the hardware name. Okay, then set the clock, start time of the clock, and execute. From here you need to compile from ARM-CC. This is the path, your given path, right? Kill ARM. Okay, kill ARM bin 40, kill ARM bin 40. This will be your application. This will be your ARM tool will be saved, installed one binary file. Then from that onwards, from that you need to go to that path and start entering the command. Okay, you cannot enter the command from C only. You need to go to that path and give the compiling options. Okay, give the compiler command armcc -c name and which file to execute. Then same file for blinky.c, same command for blinky.c, and for arm link also, the command for arm link. The input should be .o file. The input should be .o file of blinky and vectors. Then finally you will be generating a binary file from using from EIF command. Okay, this is how we execute the this is how we set the path after installing the application, and we'll execute the compiling step, linking step, and binary generation file step. Okay, in general, it is much easier to use the Microvision IDE to create and compile projects rather than using command lines. Next, about accessing memory mapped registers in C. Accessing memory map registers in C, we'll use a system ticker for system ticker to tick the time. Means the time should be gone like a pulse. Okay, to the system ticker is a 24-bit timer which contains only 4 registers. How to generate this one? The system ticker we'll see. Okay, there are 3 methods. Okay, the various ways to access memory mapped peripheral registers in C language. Okay, there there are different ways. There are 3 methods. We'll start with system tick. Okay, we'll start with system tick. It has 4 registers. There are 3 methods. Method 1 is define each register as a pointer. Okay, each register has a pointer. What we are seeing? Okay, we are seeing how to set the registers in how to map the memory registers in C. Okay, how to map the memory registers and how to access them. Okay, using C language. Okay, we have mapped with the memory, right? We need to access this memory map. Okay, for to access this memory map, we can use either C language or assembly language. Right now we are seeing how to access the memory map using C language. Okay, how to access the memory of the Cortex M3 using C language. For one example, you have taken system ticker. Okay, timer tick. Okay, it contains 4 registers. This is the programming of the this is the figure containing a C programming construct for system timer tick. Control is there, load is there. Okay, different values are there. Okay, each are using as a pointer. Okay, you can see the type of variable they are using star pointer. The star means pointer. Okay, they're acting as a pointers. Okay, how to access the registers using by naming them as a registers. And the method 2 is before going method 2, another method in the method 1 is there. We can define a macros. And then convert their address value to C pointer. Okay, here we are giving the direct value setting, but here we are using the macros, creating macros, and we are converting it to the them as C pointers. Okay, you can observe here everything has been pointer. Everything is a pointer. All the control, load, valves, calib, all are as a pointer. These are pointers, but you can see these are defined. They're just a variable and values. Okay, first they have created a macro. The macro means this is a macro setting global variable values. They are not pointers. Then after that they are converting to pointers. Okay, pointing. Okay, they're creating pointers. This is another method. First one create pointers, and second one first create macros, and first define macros and then convert them to pointers. And then second method is to create the registers as a data structures. Okay, data structures, and then make them as a pointers. Okay, first define them as registers as a data structure, and then define a pointer of the defined structure. First they are going to create a link with each of the variables. Then they are going to define them as a pointer. And the next method is same thing as the second method. Make the registers as a data structures. Okay, before pointing the defined data structure as a pointer, make the base address okay, make the base address of the peripheral using a scatter loading file. Okay, here earlier they were not mentioning the base address of the scatter loading file. Here they are making the base address as the scatter loading file. Okay, this is the difference between method 2 and method 3. You can see method 2 there is no base address defined, but here they are mentioning base address as a scatter loading script. In this case, the program code using the peripheral has to define the peripheral as a C pointer in external object. Okay, these 3 methods are used to access the memory maps in the Cortex M3 using C programming language. You don't need to memorize these lines. Okay, you just need to understand the methods. Okay, first method create the pointers, make the registers as pointers. Second method create data structures and make each defined data structure as pointer. Third method is make data structure. okay, and give the starting address as the base address means starting address as the scatter loading script. Okay, these are the three methods how to access the memory map. Then intrinsic functions in C. Why intrinsic functions in C means because whatever the program we write in C using C syntaxes, the C program is a general purpose program. It may not contain the target specific means Cortex M3 board 1, Cortex M3 board 2, different series of Cortex M3 are there. Okay, the C program may not contain all the terminal names, all the pin names. Okay, for that we need to use some uh, keywords of Cortex M3 inside the C program. That keywords we'll be using C program to make easier interface with the board is nothing but uh, may make compatible of the C program uh, with the board. So we need to use some functions of the Cortex M3. Those functions are called intrinsic functions. Intrinsic functions are nothing but the instructions which cannot be generated using normal C code, but with the use of these uh, Cortex M3 based instructions within the C program. Okay, it makes C program can be easily dumped into the can easily make the board to run proper. Okay, we'll see. Intrinsic function is nothing but the C program cannot um, use, so cannot have some instructions. The normal C program cannot have some instructions with the target board oriented. Okay, some C compilers provide intrinsic functions for accessing these special instructions. Okay, these special instructions will be obtained from the ARM compiler, Skill MDK ARM compiler. Okay, this compiler will have some extra C executable instructions. These are the instructions: CLZ, CLREX. These are the instructions, assembly instructions. Okay, and the right side is the compatible C programming instructions. Okay, because when we using developing an embedded application, okay, the C program we will not be having the target board particular pins or IC's name. Okay, so we are some instructions, reset instruction, clear instruction, all will not be there. So we will be using relative commands. So that commands is obtained from having this intrinsic functions. When we use these intrinsic functions in our ARM compilers, okay, in our C programming, sorry, when you use intrinsic functions in our C programming with the help of ARM tool, okay, we cannot use this intrinsic function in Turbo C and other functions. We need to use these intrinsic functions for developing embedded applications with the use of ARM tool only. When we are using ARM tool, okay, we are using C programming to develop the application. That C program will not be having that board supporting functions. So in order to have the board supporting functions, we can use the intrinsic function supported by ARM. Okay, then about embedded assembler and inline assembler, this is an alternative for the intrinsic functions. Since we are using intrinsic functions within the C program, okay, like this unsigned char, void, CLREX, void disable, void enable, okay, void rev, void ror, okay, void rbit, okay, the logical operations. Okay, these operations which with respect to the ARM Cortex M3, but in C program we cannot find this one. Okay, so we'll be using these instructions while constructing embedded application with ARM tool. Okay, we need to use this instruction every time, but instead of that we can go for an alternate function where we can directly access the assembly instructions in C code. Instead of using these instructions, we can directly access the assembly code only. How? By including directly assembly code within the C program. Hope you might have remembered in embedded system module 5. Okay, there we saw module 4, sorry, module 4, embedded firmware design approaches and development approaches. There we saw inline assembly also. After seeing the difference between C and embedded C compiler, we saw inline assembly. There I mentioned about using the embedded application code within the C program. Same thing we are dealing here also. Okay, alternate approach using, instead of using intrinsic functions, mentioning one by one like this for rotate operation, for reverse operation, for rotate right. Okay, and unsigned saturation, okay, and enabling function, disabling function. Instead of using these functions every time, we can directly include that assembly code into the inside the C program. This example is showing use of the assembly language inside the C program. Okay, um, you can use assembly functions inside your C program only when you are executing the program using ARM tool. Okay, this is another function. Why we saw entering function? Because we are developing and our embedded application use entirely using C program. C program is a general purpose program. It may not contain all the instructions to come to control the um, board, means target board, embedded board. Okay, the embedded board will be having reset button, enable button, disable button, clear button, preset button. Okay, LED screen, controlling the LED screen or LCD screen, different switches to control those switches. It may not have the uh, C inbuilt functions. So when we writing this when you're writing C program for developing an embedded application, and when you're using ARM tool, we need to control this. Because we are developing embedded application, we need to control this. So to control this, since the C programming doesn't have these embedded you know control embedded but switches or boards applications, so we'll use some intrinsic functions which the ARM compiler will provide. The ARM compiler will execute these instructions. We can use those instructions in our program, okay, wherever required. But instead of using those instructions, making the program bigger, we can go for we can go for inline assembler. Inline assembler means include the ARM assembly code instruction, assembly function inside the C program only. When we are developing project using a C program, okay, entirely, but few controlling of the board, maybe a reset button or any enable function or disable function or monitoring the LCD, we require assembly function. So we can directly use this assembly code inside the C program. This is the one functionality is there. Okay, this concludes our today's class. This concludes our today's class. For using embedded assembler, it is a useful task where we can directly manipulate stacks and time critical processing tasks, okay, using Codex software. Okay, this concludes our today's session. In the next session we'll try to see CMSIS, okay, and also we'll try to cover assembly language. Okay, thank you all.